Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Halo Infinite, perhaps the most expensive video game ever made, and with an insane amount of hype leading up to it, Halo Infinite's campaign is finally here and with co-op. Is it worth grappling away through an open world Halo? Let's find out. Halo Infinite had infinite hype and infinite expectations, 343's attempts to right the ship after Halo 5 and modernize the franchise, and their solution, open world and grapple hook. And like the rest of my reviews, this one is single player only because multiplayer is a live service mess that I just don't want to get into here. The story takes place after both Halo 5 and Halo Wars 2, stranded on a broken Halo ring, and with a new AI friend weapon, Chief has to figure out what happened with the Brutes, the Prometheans, Cortana, and all that nonsense before something bad happens. I'll get more into it later, but the story is a bit of a mess. It is basically the third attempt of 343 to reboot the franchise. They keep rebooting, and as such lacks a lot of emotional weight or build up to anything incredible. The game itself is different from other Halo games because of the aforementioned open world. After a few linear segments, you're tossed onto the ring with free reign as to where you'll go and what you'll tackle next. Similar to Ubisoft open world games, the map is full of small side objectives to do, from clearing out Covenant bases, killing high-ranking leaders, or establishing forward bases. Doing these objectives will grant upgrade points, which you can use to augment a handful of Chief's new abilities. The open world is fun, particularly with friends and vehicles, although it should be mentioned that almost any main mission will pull you out of the open world and into a more linear set piece similar to 343's previous experiences. And the last third of the game is almost entirely linear, although at least once you finish, you'll be dumped back into the open world to play around if you want. Chief's new tools are fun as well, especially that grapple hook. It's a massive boon for mobility, but you can also upgrade it to do stuff like electrocute enemies, give Chief a big Spartan punch, or pull objects and weapons from the environment. Its other tools include a dash, which really should have just been mapped to B by default, shield, and some other stuff you probably won't use because you'll have to unequip the grapple hook. These are basically equipment from the previous games, just swappable on demand, which is a smart improvement. Shooting, as you can imagine, feels great, although the usual batch of Covenant are finally starting to feel tired, and Brutes and Prometheans aren't as prevalent this time around, so the variety has definitely decreased. And honestly, I don't have much more to say summing up Infinite, as it's less the dramatic re-envisioning promised, and really just more of the same with the grapple hook and some open world segments, which certainly does tie into 343 promising stuff and then under-delivering. So what did I like about Halo Infinite? Well, the open world is actually a great fit for Halo, with the smaller segments of combat and rewards gelling well with the sandbox style of play that was made popular in Halo 3, allowing you to pick and choose your encounters. Additionally, the grapple hook just rules. I know it's a meme at this point with FPS games and grapple hooks, but it really is a game changer as it dramatically increases Chief's mobility and allows for some stupid jank grappling off buddies in co-op. And lastly, the shooting still feels very good, as it always does in a Halo game. The vehicles in particular work better with this open world concept, and the weapons generally feel punchy and great to use. When it comes to the bad, the open world stuff, while a great fit, is too short and there isn't really much to do overall. You essentially have 2 or 3 small zones, and then the game funnels you into linear set pieces for the rest of the game. It's kind of a waste. And speaking of those linear segments, they are just some of the worst in the series. Samey corridors, bland fights, and just tons of repetitions. I was getting Halo 5 flashbacks, which is not a good thing. And lastly, as mentioned, this story is an absolute mess. The bulk of it is told between Chief and Weapon just chatting to each other without anything else going on, and all the interesting plot reveals involving Cortana and the Brutes happened before this game, so you're just figuring it out rather than interacting with it in any way. It boggles my mind why they thought this was a good way to tell this story. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider, don't bother. Yeah, this is a maybe consider. Halo Infinite is a game with a ton of potential that squanders most of it, much like the previous 343 Halo games. The open world actually works, and the grapple hook is the best inclusion in a Halo game to date, but the minute you start getting into that rhythm, the game locks you into the same bland, repetitive, and uninteresting linear combat arenas that plagued Halo 5. It is better than 5 for sure, and the co-op grapple hook led to some hilarious shenanigans, but considering the time and effort this game took to make, the fact that it fell into the same traps that plague all of 343's Halo games is extremely disappointing. It might be time for a new developer to own Halo, just saying. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think about Halo Infinite single player? Good, bad, fun diversion? I was pretty enamored with it for the first hour or so, and then the honeymoon phase ended. But I want to know what you think, so please let me know in the comments, and then go out there and maybe check out Halo Infinite.